Tucked directly beneath the massive red pillars of the 25-de-Abril suspension bridge sits a 23,000 square meter concrete grid. In 1846, this site was the Compañía de Fiación y Tecidos Lisbonense, a booming textile mill filled with long rows of heavy machinery. By the late 20th century, Lisbon's industrial base contracted. The massive footprint was abandoned, decaying into empty warehouses of dirt, exposed pipes, and crumbling infrastructure. When real estate firm Mainside acquired the property in 2008, they ignored the standard playbook. Instead of demolishing the site, they intentionally preserved the raw, exposed brick facades and rusted iron support structures. This strategy created a gritty, authentic space that quickly gained international fame as a creative sanctuary. Online, the LX factory is still pitched as an untouched hipster paradise. But by 2026, surging commercial rents have pushed out many of the original artist studios. The physical environment reflects this shift. Independent makers are being replaced by slick, branded pop-up shops and newly constructed covered commercial structures. To determine if an attraction inside the complex is worth your time and money, we plot it on this LX factory matrix. The horizontal axis measures the input required, like cost and crowds, while the vertical axis tracks the authentic value and uniqueness of the output. Attractions demanding massive effort for a generic experience fall into the high-hype, low-value trap on the bottom right. The goal is isolating attractions in the low-hype, high-value sweet spot. LX Factory sits 3 kilometers outside of downtown Lisbon. Making that track is only beneficial if you abandon spontaneity and rigorously curate exactly what you choose to interact with. If we plot the famous LX Sunday Market onto the matrix during its peak 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. window, it drops directly into the high-cost, low-yield quadrant. Arriving during this window comes with immediate physical trade-offs. You will navigate shoulder-to-shoulder foot traffic and stand in food lines that regularly exceed 20 minutes. The market inventory has also shifted. Recent counts show a 30% decrease in independent artisans, replaced by stalls selling mass-produced, generic jewelry. This congestion is compounded by the complex's terrain, which mixes traditional Portuguese calçada cobblestones with highly uneven industrial flooring. Attempting to navigate the steep iron factory staircases or broken outdoor paths in thin-soled shoes or heels carries a severe physical penalty. Attending the Sunday afternoon market requires trading your physical comfort and authentic shopping away in exchange for mere crowd energy and proximity to hype. However, the site's permanent architectural and artistic installations belong firmly in the high-output quadrant. The Lair de Vigar bookstore occupies a cavernous former printing shop. The physical environment is built entirely around a massive antique rotary press, complete with a kinetic sculpture of a flying bicycle suspended overhead. Outside, you'll find the work of street artist Bordalo II. His Trash Animals series features a massive bee sculpture constructed directly onto the wall using discarded industrial waste, tires, and scrap metal. The entire complex functions as an open-air gallery with permanent, large-scale murals covering the vast factory exteriors. Unlike the rotating weekend pop-ups, these permanent artistic fixtures provide a guaranteed, undiluted return on your valuable time investment. The internal dining scene presents another trade-off. While eating inside a repurposed industrial canteen is visually stunning, the food carries a significant tourist premium. This map outlines a high-value alternative. A 15-minute walk down the riverbank brings you to the neighboring Santos district, offering Michelin-selected dining without inflated pricing. Alternatively, cover the exact same distance catching tram 15E or taking a €5 rideshare. For souvenirs, skip the outdoor market tents entirely. The real value is hidden inside the complex's permanent concept stores. Inside, you can hunt for specific, high-yield goods that avoid the generic souvenir trap, like biodynamic Portuguese wines or authentic Bordalo Pinheiro ceramics. The optimal budget strategy splits your itinerary. Absorb the free street art and culture inside the complex, but deploy your heavy dining dollars in the surrounding local neighborhoods. We can use this decision tree to route different traveler archetypes to their optimal LX Factory approach. The itinerary optimizer path pairs a morning exploring the historic monuments in nearby Belém with a lunchtime stop at the factory complex. Executing this exact sequence requires immense walking stamina, as you are stacking 2 expansive districts back to back. Alternatively, the culture purist path dictates visiting strictly on a Thursday or Friday afternoon. By choosing this route, you sacrifice the kinetic energy of the Sunday market, but you gain quiet, unobstructed access to the bookstore and the working artist studios. LX Factory is not a one-size-fits-all destination. You only get the result you are looking for if you tailor your entry time to your specific threshold for crowds. The final verdict: LX Factory has commercialized, but because the developers kept the original 19th century structures instead of replacing them, it avoids the simulated feel of a standard tourist trap. The ultimate closing ritual for any visit is to secure a spot at the Rio Maravilla rooftop bar an hour before dusk. From up here, the rooftop's vantage point perfectly aligns with the massive red suspension bridge spanning the Tagus River. By dodging the peak crowds and curating your spending, you bypass the tourist hype and actually connect with the gritty, authentic magic of Lisbon's industrial rebirth.